Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. But not really. Today I am not actually doing a pro cast. What I'm actually going to be doing today is talking a little bit about mechanics practice and about a little bit of something that I do every day. Now, from the get-go, I want to say that I did not come up with this. I claim this is not I didn't copyright this. If anybody gets credit for this, for what I do on a daily basis, and what I'm about to show you right now, it should be Day 9. Day 9 Daily number 360. It is called Mental Checklist Exercises. Go check that out. He's going to get into all the kind of good exercises that you can do no matter what race you are, Zerg, Terran, Protoss, whatever, and he is going to cover it in much more depth and detail. But for those of you that didn't want to watch that 1 hour long Day 9 Daily, I wanted to give you a little bit of a sample of what I do on a day-to-day basis. And for those of you out there just trying to improve your StarCraft and you just want to know where to start, maybe you're Bronze, Silver League, Gold League maybe, and you just want to improve your mechanics, this is where you're going to be. This is something you can just do really easy, super easy, maybe 10-15 minutes a day. And I promise you, if you just get these things down, you can probably get to high gold, at least, maybe platinum, just by getting your mechanics really natural. So, let's jump into it right now. For today, I'm just going to be covering only the Zerg race. If you want to know about the Terran and Protoss races, or similar exercises that you can do for Terran and Protoss, I might be able to do a video similar to this on Terran and Protoss, but since Zerg is the race that I really do this every day with, then that is the one I'm most comfortable with, and so that's what I'm going to be doing today. If you guys want to see Terran and Protoss, comment down below and let me know if that's something you guys are interested in. It is something that I do from time to time just because I like to practice my mechanics with both Terran and Protoss as well, just because it's a lot of really good practice, gets a lot of good stuff smoothed out with those races for when I do play them from time to time. So notice first of all that I have created a custom game, no computers in here at all whatsoever. This can be 1v1, whatever you want it to be. Just make sure that you are the only one in the game, and we are going to jump right into this game. Alright you guys, so I've loaded up this game here on Shattered Temple, and before we jump into this, we are going to talk a little bit about some of the more basic things. First thing you want to get around when you start to practice is you don't want to start developing bad habits. Things like having to click things down here, always bad. As much as possible, you want to push keys on your keyboard and not have to click anything in this little box here. So what I've done is I've enabled these little letters here. So anytime you want to push something down on this little pad down here, instead of clicking on it, come down here, look at what that letter is, and just push it on your keyboard. You really want to get used to doing that instead. I'm going to tell you how to turn those on real quick. If you go into your options menu and you check out the gameplay, you'll see this display command hotkey text, where now, if I enable that, it's going to show all the letters on there. You pretty much want that all the time if you're just starting out. You want those up so that you can know all the time which buttons to push to get what units. The next thing I want to talk about is, of course, my own personal hotkeys. Now, there's a huge variety of hotkeys that people use. There are people that hotkey all different hatches. There are people that like to hotkey every hatch with every queen that goes with it. There are people that like to hotkey all their hatcheries to one hotkey and then have all their hatcheries on individual hotkeys. But whatever hotkey you like to use those. What I like to do personally is I like to hotkey all my hatcheries to 4 and all my queens to 5 so that I can use the shift backspace method when I am injecting. If you guys don't know what that is, don't worry about it. It's not too important right now. I can do a video showing you how to do it later if you are interested. But for now, I'm just going to be hotkeying my hatcheries to 4, queens to 5, and army units to 1. Okay, enough talk. Let's get into what we can actually start to do to practice. We are putting all build orders aside. I will tell you that right now. We are not going to be doing anything with build orders at all. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking one drone, and I'm actually going to hotkey him to 2. That's generally where I like to hotkey my scouting drone. And again, my hatchery is going to be hotkeyed to 4. I'm going to set a rally point for the drones on the minerals, and I'm just going to put another one down there. It doesn't really matter. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here to the middle of Shattered Temple, and I'm going to just start running this drone around. I'm going to start running this drone around, but I'm saying, you know what? There's larva here. There's money building up over here. I need to start spending that. The goal here is to start building things at your base without having to look at it and just use hotkeys. So I'm going to be moving my drone around, and I'm going to hit 4S D to make drones. And I'm just going to keep going around. And I'm just going to keep doing that. 4SD. Back to 2, and just continue to move my drone around. And you want to just keep doing this until you get used to doing this all the time. Now I can already see that I'm going to screw this up just because I'm having to talk while I'm explaining this, but start to do all kinds of things. Move this drone around, see if you can't move them all around the map, explore the map while you're just constantly building drones. And now I'm supply blocked. That is probably going to happen a lot today because I'm not going to be paying too close attention, but you should be. I normally am. When I'm practicing, I never ever want to get supply blocked. Always be watching the supply up here. Keep moving this drone around. You know what? Forget it. I'm building another overlord because I don't care about build orders right now. And you're just going to keep doing this until you get real good at moving this drone around. You're going to keep moving this drone around and building more drones back at home. This is going to develop a lot until this is just completely automatic and you don't even really have to think about it too much. Okay, so we have now covered phase 1 of just moving a drone and constantly building drones out of your hatchery. Now, once you've mastered that, and only once you've mastered that, we can start moving on. As you can see, I've now thrown down a spawning pool and a queen, so now I'm going to start adding injecting to the mix. Okay, so we are going to jump down to this drone, we are going to wander around, we're still going to go drone, 4SD, we're going to keep building drones, but now, every now and then, I'm going to hit 5, I'm going to hit V and click. Now I'm going to go back down here. Now there are lots of different ways for people to watch their hatcheries. If you hotkey your hatcheries individually, you can actually see this bar down there. That will actually tell you how close you are to having injections. So right now I'm going to keep building drones. I personally like to watch this side of the map over here for that little bar that tells me once those larvae have hatched. So I'm going to keep moving this drone around, building drones back home, and additional larva birth, jump back, inject, back to my drone. Keep building drones. And I'm about to get supply blocked, so I'm going to build an overlord, and I'm going to keep moving this drone around, and that's it. Now this is all you're going to keep doing. You're just going to keep doing this non-stop. Drone, 4SD, drone, 4SD, drone, 4SD, and at some point in time, that queen is going to need to inject again. There's a unit complete. And almost. Come on, give me one more. There we go. Bam. Inject. Back down we go. Keep building drones. Keep moving this drone around. And once you can do this smoothly, you have completed phase 2. Real quick, just to demonstrate, I've also added on a second hatchery now here at my natural. Both have queens at my main and my natural. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing and show you that with more hatcheries, it's the exact same thing. Right now I still have all my hatcheries to 4 and all my queens to 5. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move my drone a little bit. I'm going to go back. I'm going to inject both my hatcheries. I'm going to go back to this drone. Keep building drones. Going to need a couple overlords here soon. But now I'm just moving this drone around. This also doesn't have to be a drone. If you guys want this to be Zerglings, you can have this be 6 Zerglings and you can make them make a circle with them, put them in a line, do whatever little micro tricks you would like to do. And I'm getting super oversaturated at my main and my natural, but I just don't care right now. I'm not mining any gas yet either, just don't care right now. Just moving this drone, building drones back home, and as soon as I see that additional larva birth, then I go back, inject, and keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And this is almost like phase 2.5, additional hatcheries. Now we are going to move on to phase 3. We are going to now add on spreading creep as well. Alright, so what I've done now is I have added on a 3rd queen, and I've already thrown down a couple of creep tumors here, but what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be adding spreading creep to my rotation. So, all I'm going to do, I'm going to spread creep, I'm going to inject my hatcheries, I'm going to go back to my drone, and let's go. Back into moving my drone around, back to building drones and overlords back home. Yes, I know I'm supply blocked. Gonna build a whole bunch of overlords to make up for it, and I'm just gonna keep moving around the map. And the time for your queen to get enough energy to throw down another creep tumor is the same as it is for birthing larva. So every time, for me personally, I just like to go spread creep every time I try to go inject. There we go. Inject, go to my queen, throw down another creep tumor, and spread my creep tumors out a little bit, back to my drone. Just doing this all the time. Keep building drones. Keep building more drones. More drones, more overlords. getting ready and waiting for those injects. And now once again, this is starting to get really, really tricky. Once again, if this is getting too hard, too complicated, go back. There's no need to do all these things at once. This is something, once you've developed a lot of practice with the lower levels of doing this, the earlier phases, then you can start to do the lower level, then you can start to go up to these more difficult stages of constantly moving. And as you can see, I'm not doing a fantastic job right now keeping this drone moving. In theory, you want to keep this drone moving around right now, but since I'm having to talk right now, this is actually a lot harder than I thought it would be, trying to talk and keep up with all of these things at the same time. But that's pretty much it. This is the end of Phase 3. Alrighty, so we are now going to move on to just Phase 4. There are just a couple of extra little details that you want to be able to do on top of this. Okay, so there is one last little element that I want to add to this that you can do to practice once you've gotten to that level of being able to do all those things I talked about earlier smoothly. And that is, you want to be able to add more hatcheries. First of all, that shouldn't be too much of a challenge. A lot of players feel like, oh my god, I start adding on all these bases and now it's so hard. But it should be the exact same thing. It shouldn't be any different at all from what you were doing before. You just have more hatcheries to inject, but it shouldn't be too bad. And the other last little element is starting to program in things into your play like looking at the minimap. For me, anytime I want to spread creep, I look at the minimap. This is something that Day 9 actually recommended that I am really super religious about doing, is that anytime you think about spreading creep, you give a quick glance at the minimap, one, to see where your creep tumors are so that you can continue to spread them out, and to just give one overall look at the minimap. Most of the time when you're playing StarCraft, you should be spending a lot of time looking at the minimap. So that's one thing that is the last thing to do. So I'm just going to start going at it real quick here just to see if I can actually do this, and while I'm talking and all this, actually keep up with doing all these other things, because it starts to be kind of a lot of stuff to have to do while talking. But should all be the same, and this is the kind of thing that gets your mechanics where you want it to be pretty quick, and I promise you, this takes like 10 minutes a day. And is it going to make you Huck? Is it going to make you Idra? No. No, it's not. I'm not doing any kind of builds at all. I haven't shown you any kind of builds at all today. All I'm doing is just doing lots of injecting, spreading creep, and moving a drone around the minimap. That's all I am going to do, and that's all you need to do really to start too. And you can get very far on ladder just by having really solid mechanics. So get to it. Get out there, start doing this just a few times a day, and I promise you are going to get so much better, so much faster. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are interested in seeing more videos like this, go let me know. Comment down below in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So thanks guys for watching. I hope this was helpful.